Hi. Welcome to the first event in the 2022 summer series of the Tony Woiak History Festival. It's so good to see everybody here tonight. It's been a long time, hasn't it? And I hope you're as happy to be here as we are to be here. This festival is sponsored by the Washburn Heritage Association and the Washburn Area Historical Society. We work on this together. This season is funded in part by a grant from the Wisconsin Humanities, with funds from the National Endowment for the Humanities and the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Humanities strengthens the roots of community through education and cultural programs and encourages civic participation and individual imagination. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this project tonight do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Yeah, thank you, Harborview Event Center, for once again providing this beautiful venue right here on the shores of Schwamigan Bay and Washburn. Thank you to the members from the Washburn Heritage Association and from the Washburn Area Historical Society who have worked together to plan these festivals, and especially to the amazing Carla Bremer, who has led this committee for the past 20 years.
Thank you, audience, for your attendance and for your enthusiastic support for the Tony Woiak Festivals as we begin our 11th season. Over these years, we have held over 60 events, many of which have been video recorded, as tonight's will be. These programs are listed by subject and category on the WHA website, and they're available for you to view at your leisure. You can watch Gary Homan tell about the Washburn Colac. You can listen to Tom Gerstenberger talk about the local history of brownstone quarrying. You can hear Coke Lindsay talk about skiing at Mount Ashaway or about the history of the DuPont Club. Or you can even view a video recording of Warren Nelson describing the roots of the Big Top Chautauqua.
Tonight we welcome Warren back along with his son, Owen Nelson Ferris. They are here to entertain and enlighten you with story and song as they answer the question, where have all railroads gone? Give them a warm Washburn welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for inviting us. I'm a lover of history, of course, like you all are. And in honor of Tony Woiak, oh man, what a great man he was. Of course, I got to know him well and I wanted to learn about Washburn's history. And I don't know if you read those books he put out, but I can't believe it. He knows every nickname of every person that ever lived here from the 1880s and on. Anyway, railroad enthusiasts, rail fans, great. Well, you know, here's what they say about that. If you're thinking about railroad and it just taking over your life, you're a foamer, which means you foam at the mouth when you start thinking about railroads. Or maybe you're a glazer. Your eyes glaze over when someone talks about trains to you. Or then the worst of all, FLM, rail fans still living with mother. All right, start her off, Owen. Check.
That lonesome sound, that whistle you love,
Wisconsin had its railroad history, as did Washburn. Just amazing, those of you who know the history of what went on just out this window back in the 1880s to start here in the harbor when they built that big elevator. But the first railroad came to Ashland in 1877. It was the Wisconsin Central. Laid the lines up from Milwaukee. The first, but in the early 1880s, the main line of Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Omaha Railway was built through St. Paul to the end of the line at Bayfield. But Washburn was the impetus. A real estate organization known as the Bay Land and Improvement Company had acquired land on Washburn's former or future city site. And in the spring of 1883, before the railroad had come through, the company staked out a town site and began selling lots. The town was named Washburn after Cadwallader C. Washburn, one of the founders of General Mills, which it's just such a great story. I know you probably know that. But then there was a local road called the Battle Axe. Here's its story. Once upon the tracks ran a train named Battle Axe that took Bayfield County for a ride. For a 25-year ride to be exact. All aboard! Washburn, Engle, Grand Crossing, Edderline, Headquarters, Bayfield Junction, Benton, Greenwood, Codis, Lowbridge, Portwing Junction, Vena, and Iron River. The Battle Axe, formerly known as the Washburn, Bayfield, and Iron River Railroad, was built in 1897 by years of local hope. The blow of promoter Dwight Savin and the cash money of county taxpayers to the tune of $7,000 per mile, which almost covered the total cost of $240,000. It was a pipe dream. County officials believed the road would be a boon to the new farms sprouting between the stumps, but alas, when it was finally abandoned in the 20s, it was never known to have shown a profit. It was a very accommodating road to the new settlers along its route. They could flag it down, pass a list to the engineer, and have groceries or whatever dropped off beside the tracks on its return. At its peak, it did run 4 engines, 408 cars, and 2 coaches. But the Omaha Road, that was another story. Where do you want to go? You could get there from here. Not just for business, but for pleasure. The next reading before I do the song was written by Chick Sheridan. And you all remember Chick. Between him and Tony, Washburn's story has been told. And so this is his story. There are many older residents in the area who have fond memories of the scoot, the red plush cushions and the varnished woodwork, smoky lamps that provided minimal illumination, the steam whistle that echoed along the shores of the bay, faded away far inland among the hills and valleys. The dry, dusty, and distinct smell of the coaches, compounded of coal smoke, steam, kerosene in the lamps, and dust from the red plush. The steady click of the wheels passing over the rail joints, the slow progress of the conductor as he passed along the aisle punching tickets, the swift swaying of the brakeman as he hurried along the aisle in the performance of his task, the majestic mien of the engineer as he gravely waved and saluted from his throne at the throttle. Memories of Christmas Eve at the railroad station are especially vivid. The scoot, as always, was an hour late, as it had to wait at the junction for the train from the Twin Cities. The waiting rooms at the station would be packed to the doors, with abundant body heat supplementing the smoky heat of coal from the stove in the center of the room. Under the hum of conversation was the constant click-click of the telegraph, and occasionally a bulletin of the progress of the Twin Cities train would be passed around. At long last, a distant whistle would penetrate the waiting rooms. There would be jubilant shouts of, "There she comes!" And out the station platform would pour the eager waiting crowd, filling the platform to the edge. Everyone would peer along the track to the southwest, awaiting the whistle and the first sight of the locomotive. Then the train would thunder in, bell ringing, steam hissing, and brakes squealing. And finally the passengers would slowly disembark from the cars and come down the steps, their arms full of Christmas gifts, the air full of shouts of welcome. Where are all the railroads? I could really use a ride. My Sunday friends and neighbors on the platform beside me. I got my pockets packed with cigars. I got my suitcase full of beer. Just wanna do like they used to and catch a train right here. First we'll take the special offer of August 1899. The popular Twilight Limited. She leaves Washburn at dawn, St. Paul and back on the Omaha track, just to prove we are alive. Return the same day or stay over, 275. I'll take my seat next to the window, one that's velvet, red and plush. Gotta get my ticket Saturday and avoid the Sunday rush. Tell me now, where are all the sleepers? I could really use a snooze. Say goodnight in Minnesota. Wake up in Montana. I want to cross the Rocky Mountains. Sit and think and stare. Play cards and wine and dine and chat and meet new folks and get on way out there. You got an ocean to see the ocean, or look for new lands in the west. Have you cousins to see there in Superior, or one somewhere you love the best? Where's the old battle axe? The long lost local grade. I got a road load for Iron River. Can you deliver it for me today? I'll pay the tax to relay tracks. Work long days out on the crew. For a little old no pay, that's okay. Just keep my cheeks fat full of chew. Where are all the short lines? Up and down around the bay. There was a time they made 8 stops here in Washburn, 4 round trips a day. They carried baseball teams and daydreamers and campers to Houghton Point. Fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers, like the workers to DuPont. You want to shop all day in Ashland, or go fishing on the Sioux. You got some business up there in Bayfield. Toot whistle, take the scoop, take the scoop. Rudy toot toot. Where are all the railroads? I could really use a ride with my Sunday friends and neighbors on the platform beside me. I got my pockets packed with cigars. I got my suitcase full of beer. Just wanna do like they used to and catch a train right here. I just wanna do like they used to and catch a train right here. Well, Amtrak. Thank goodness, but I think it must have been in the early 1970s. The federal government and in cohorts with a lot of people, states, formed Amtrak It's a national thing now. Some of you ridden Amtrak? Oh man, been on it many times. And this next song was actually inspired while I was leaving Kansas City on the midnight train. I was going west out to Emporia, Kansas. Couldn't believe the old Union Station in Kansas City was mostly an echo hall now, but it was just unbelievable. So anyway, this is the story of my train ride on that day long ago. I think it must have been the 1970s. I'm leaving Kansas City on the midnight train, west out onto this Kansas plain, rocking me in the arms of Amtrak, passing up the pillows they don't talk about, pulling up the miles on a flying cloud, way back, around me in the arms of Amtrak. Well, I like to swing on music, think they're rolling by. I keep one eye on these Kansas girls, one eye on the horizon. I'm leaving Kansas City on the midnight train, on west out on those Kansas plains. Rock me in the arms of Amtrak. Here comes Chicago Willie, walking down the aisle, got this is my car, Tippy now smile. Hey, Willie, can you tell me, is the bar car still open? No, there's a crowd back there, they're pulling the bottle and be willing to share. Think I'll be back to see you soon as I make the round. On the high iron, high line, high ball, high goodbye to another day. Through a new night of this land down on the whole way west from the cemetery. I'm leaving Kansas City on the midnight train, on west out on this Kansas plain. I'm leaving the arms of Amtrak, hear that band go. Peeking at the Pico when it starts to rain, awake half the night on this silver train. The lights of the little town sprinkle all over the prairie. Well, I didn't have the money to get a room at, sleeping in the coast with folks I never met. Gonna need more. Strangers snow beside me. Now the rain is gone, the fog is lifted, the beards have grown, the hairdo shifted, the woman with the beehive is coming alive in the sea just ahead. Her hoodoo's been about 20 degrees, trying not to laugh, so help me please. We're in Colorado, everybody through the window. I want to see those Rocky Mountains shining in the snow. I could ride this train forever, doesn't matter where it goes. Well, I'm leaving Kansas City on the midnight train, on west out on the Kansas plain. Walk me in the arms of Amtrak. Walk me in the arms of Amtrak. Walk me in the arms of Amtrak. Oh, look who just got the board.
I'm gonna bring that mic over.
Severin Bain joins us. Just but a couple weeks ago from that beautiful small town, Los Angeles,
You
California.
can just go through that.
Hey, Sven, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for bringing that along. You know this one? Sometime around 1990 to 1991, the Newstetter Foundation of Colorado, Denver, Colorado, a great friend of mine, Buzzy Newstetter contacted Betty Ferris and myself of the Nelson Ferris Concert Company and said, you know, you've written shows about Wisconsin and lighthouses, why don't you write one about Colorado? So we went out there and investigated, did some research, and I started to find out that my big interest was getting into railroad history in Colorado, especially in Denver, another great Union station there. Took the train out there more than once. And so wrote a show called On the Velvet. I don't know how many of you saw that so many years ago, but so, probably my favorite show. Wait, maybe the baseball one. No, wait. I think On the Velvet, I think the railroad show was my favorite one. And one of the things we learned about was the story of the Pullman Porters, the black Americans who back in turn of the century, you know, had a hard time finding a job in a white world. And then all of a sudden a man named George Pullman from Chicago got the idea, hey, you know, I think we should have a couple sleeper cars on these trains, and then let's have a porter who would come and assist the customers, you know, make up their bed before they get there at night. And so I studied the whole history of the porter, met one in Denver and talked to him. And Daddy Joe was the name of the kind of the Paul Bunyan of the porters. And so we had a great man, you remember him, Felix Knox. And am I talking too much? No. Anyway, I had written the show, Ben and I put it together, and I had written all the music, and I didn't know a black person, you know, that was an actor or anything up here, you know. And so I go to a play at Northland College in the Elton Theater, and there's a touring group coming through from Ohio. And the plot of the thing was there was a slave hiding in the attic of the house. And anyway, so after I heard this man named Felix Knox, who was just a great singer and a great actor. And I walked up afterwards and introduced myself and said, hey, I'm Warren Nelson. I'm Felix Knox. And they said, man, I wish you were here because I'm doing a railroad show that's opening in about, I don't know, 3 months. He said, tell me more about it. I said, well, you know, we got a great band, and they got a tent show to put it in, and he said, well, when is it? And I told him, and he said, well, you know, me and my partner are leaving on a 4-week train trip tomorrow on a vacation around the United States on Amtrak. I'm a big rail fan. I said, you're hired. He came up from Georgia where he was living, and he was just, I mean, wow. Here's a song called Night Train Lullaby by. Uh-oh. Mama, pull the Pullman curtain down. Daddy, won't you lift and carry me? Oh, some whistle leaving town on the night train, lullaby. Tomorrow we will be beside the sea. Nebraska plains, up slow east Colorado to the Mile High City. Denver, give your hand to the Rio Well, this one's very interesting.
This one.
Severin wrote most of the music on this. I chipped in, I wrote the lyrics. This is called On the Velvet. And I wish you could see Severin's chart. Like it was total Greek to me until I gave it to Rowan.
I just
And,
approximated
you know,
most of it.
I don't know, some chords that I've never heard of, never will again. But anyway, Rowan figured out how we do it, and so we're going to do it. And on the velvet means the plush car. If you want to get on the velvet, you're coming into the, by the way, I see a railroad engineer right in front of me. We'll talk about that later. Wisconsin Central, right?
5.
Wow. Very cool. Man, well, write a show. Anyway, this featured the conductor, or the conductor on the train, which was Jack Gunnison, and the porter, Felix Knox. So it's called On the Velvet. Once upon a time, the trains took a nation on its way. Short lines, the limited, specials on the fly. Once upon the train gone by, the name train rolled out carpet all aboard. Step up on the velvet, back on the drawbar, a grand hotel on wheels. Once upon the train gone by, and on any platform, any day, you could hear America singing. Rich or poor, rolled on the silver rail. On the heels, always another doing at the depot. Traveler, you're to see the trains we rode. Once over the tracks, a blue distant song. Steam bell whistles goodbye. Hello, said the headlight, rushing through the night. Once upon the train's gone by, and on any platform, any day, you could hear America singing. Rich or poor, rolled on the silver rail. On the heels, always another doing at the depot. Traveler, should have seen the trains we rode. Why don't you guys play a verse and a chorus? Oh man. Hallelujah. Should have seen the train roll. Once upon the train's gone by.
I didn't even play all of them. He wrote a lot.
This next song is called Loose in the Caboose. And Rowan wrote the music to this, and I wrote the lyrics. Do you remember that caboose used to be down here in Washburn on the highway?
Yep.
Did the battle axe? You ever wonder what happened to that?
Yep.
Yeah. It's in my backyard. I'm a true foamer. Anyway, it used to be the info station for the Washburn Chamber of Commerce, and for some reason, I can't remember if it was a man or woman that worked there, just didn't like it, so she wanted to go in some room, some rented room downtown or something. So Phil Ross, who was on the committee, a lot of people helped move that train. Olson's, you must have been there, Dick. It came from Cornucopia, I think it was painted green. I drove up there and saw it before it got moved. And anyway, it was just totally refurbished, and heater put in it, steps put on the outside, a deck. And so anyway, it was up for bids. There were 3 bids. Somebody bid $1. Somebody bid, I can't remember, $1,000, and I just got to figure, okay, please, man. I'll bid $3,600, so if somebody bids $35, I beat him by $1, and I got it. And then I hired Bob Blue to move it out to my place, which was quite a feat. So, but that's not the only thing sitting in my yard. I have a garage made out of roundhouse doors from the Sioux Line in Ashland. And I remember going by there. Do you remember back there? There was a turntable, I know. I walked back there, and it was beautiful roundhouse, 5 pair of huge doors, you know. I don't know, they must be 16 feet tall or more. About taller than this room right here. I remember a guy named Monk was the mayor at that time, and I called up the office and I said, can I speak to Mayor Monk? He says, well, this is his secretary. And then I said, well, could you tell him that I would like to buy those railroad doors from the Sioux Line, because I know they're going to be toothpicks in a couple of months. And she said, call me back. So I called her back 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Finally, the last time I said, Carol, she said, Warren, he does not want to hear from you anymore. And I said, you tell this to the mayor. Saturday morning, I'm hiring a cherry picker semi-truck. We're going to come into Ashland, right down through Main Street. We're going to lift those doors off. I'm going to steal them and deliver them to my house. And by God, that's what we did. Man, it's unbelievable. It's the goofiest looking garage you've ever seen. Oh, man. All right, loosen the caboose. reminds me, a couple weeks ago, I played with Jack Gunnison, Where All the Railroad song for the dedication of the Houghton Depot up at Bayview Park. You've probably seen that. Man, what a restoration that is. And, Bayview Township. And gosh, I can remember the guy's name who's the spearhead of that. He told former laser. And he was wearing his, sorry I can't remember his name right now, it'll probably come to me. Anyway, he did the introductions and stuff, and a bunch of important people talked. And they said, well, let's come on in the depot, or the little depot, very small, very small. And I went in there, and it was just, you know, just all these plaques and things over the wall. But then he says, watch this. So he gets a couple of ropes and a pulley and lowers down this absolutely magnificent model train set that comes down and sits. The legs fold out, so we started up the train. My kind of man. What's next?
You're gonna make me sing.
Oh, City New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. This is a City New Orleans. I think Arlo Guthrie recorded this. I think Steve Goodman wrote it. And my daughter Medora, my son Rowan, and myself rode the City of New Orleans in 1997 for a week. We spent a week down in the north. We took the train out of Toma and caught the train there, and then went through Milwaukee and then connected and got into Chicago. We had about a 3-hour layover in Chicago, hung around that just grand Union Station in Chicago, just huge benches, and then we boarded our train at 8:15, and we did get a sleeper, but we were lucked out because we were given one. Usually a sleeper's on one side of the train, but they had a room downstairs where all the luggage is, and it had 3 beds in it, 3 bunks that folded out, and windows on both sides. So all the way to New Orleans we could see. And we left at 8:15 Chicago and got in New Orleans at 3:30 p.m. the next day. Took the train over Lake Pontchartrain. And, oh man.
Remember, it's like a tag intro.
What's that?
Remember, it's like a tag intro.
Okay.
Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning rail. 15 cars, 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out of Kankakee
Freight Train, is that okay?
Yeah.
This song was written by who? Elizabeth Cotton, I think her name was. She's a left-handed guitar player, a black woman, I think. And this is a song you've probably heard many, many times, so don't be afraid to sing along, you know.
And there will be an accordion solo.
The key is this head again, C?
Yeah.
C?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell them what train I'm on, or they'll know which way I've come. When I'm dead and in my grave, no more good times here I crave. Place the stones at my head and feet and tell them all I've gone to sleep. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell them what train I'm on, or they'll know which way I've gone. I'll take it. When I die, just bury me deep way down on Old Chestnut Street, so I can hear that number 9 as she goes rolling by. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell them what train I'm on, or they'll know which way I've gone. Yeah. Please don't tell them what train I'm on, or they'll know which way I've gone.
Okay. Another song Rowan brought up the other day when we were trying to think of what to play here. This is called The Train That Carried My Girl from Town. And Lost Nation String Band, a band that I helped start, was in for a long time. Used to do this song. I'd forgotten all about that. So anyway, all right, The Train That Carried My Girl from Town.
Check. All right.
Start with the interview thing. Right?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. There goes the train that carried my girl from town. If I know her number, Lord, I'd flag her down. Wish to God that the train would break, kill that engineer and break the fireman's neck. Hey, that train
only got a couple songs left here. And the next one is one you know, and you're going to sing it louder than we are. It's called I've Been Working on the Railroad. It's all you learned in kindergarten class. And I had trouble remembering all the words today. What key should we do this in?
I think you said D, maybe?
D. All right, you ready? I'm working on the railroad. I'm working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Can't you hear the whistle blow? Myself so early in the morning. Can't you hear the captain shouting? Time to blow your horn. Time to blow, time to blow, time to blow your horn. Time to blow, time to blow, time to blow your horn. Someone's in the kitchen, someone's in the kitchen, someone's in the kitchen, someone on the open line, someone's in the kitchen. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone on the open door. Someone on the open door. Yeah. Thank you for inviting us. Thank Jenny for getting a hold of me, and it was supposed to be last January, but you know what happened then? COVID came and reared its ugly head, and so we're all back at it, so being careful. So anyway, we're going to say good afternoon, good evening with a song called The Wabash Cannonball. Probably know this one too. I think we'll do this one in the key of E. Listen to the jingle, the rumble, and the roar. She glides along the woodland o'er the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of engine, hear the lonesome hobo's call. Traveling through the jungle, Wabash Cannonball. Wait a minute. The great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore. She climbs the flowery mountains over hills and by the shore. Mighty tall and handsome, she's no one of our own. She's a regular combination called Wabash Cannonball. Here we go now. Listen to the jingle, rumble and the roar, as she glides along the woodlands over hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of engine, hear the lonesome old squall. Traveling through the jungle along the Wabash Cannonball. Well, she comes down with burning hands, cold December day. As she pulled into the station, you can't hear all the people say, she's from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She came down from Birmingham on the Wabash Cannonball. Oh, listen to the jingle, rumble and roar, as she glides along the woodlands, the hills and by the shore. Everybody rush of engine, hear the lonesome old ball. Fight the ride and break the beat on the Wabash Cannonball. There you go, Morgan. round and fall. We're taking him home to Dixie on the Wabash Cannonball. Oh, listen to the jingle rumble and roll as you ride along the lowlands, the hills and by the shore. My love to make Jersey lonesome folks call. Down to the jungle, Wabash Cannonball. One more. Oh, listen to the jingle rumble and roll as you ride along the lands, old hills and by the shore. My love to make Jersey lonesome folks call. Traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Thank you for coming. It's going to us in a railroad song. Let's see that.
You got one more.
Another railroad song? You know any more? What's that?
We can help you. No, it defaults to whiskey before breakfast.
Oh, sure.
It's like a ship and a plane.
Yeah, this is called steam-powered aeroplane. It's not a train, but it's steam-powered. Is that okay? Come on. Take it or leave it. What's the answer here? Huh? All right, go for it.
I'll go back. I can't tell the sunshine if it's rain, rain, rain. Never be sitting in the deck chair, old Kansas City coming for wedding. Can you mind? Airplane.
What a wonderful series. Washburn, Wisconsin, 54891.
Anybody look out the window lately? Beautiful.